Welcome, everyone. I'm Amy Green, VP of Sales and Marketing here at Cirrus Insight. And it's fantastic that we have so many of you here today as we unveil our AI roadmap and share where we're headed next. So before we begin, I would like to take us through a couple of housekeeping items. We love your questions first and foremost, so encourage those. You don't have to wait until the very end to submit those. We're going to be using the Q&A module of the Zoom webinar platform. So if you want to take a minute to locate that, it should say Q&A. I put a little screenshot here. You can type those in. We will be monitoring those throughout. Some of those we may answer right away. Others we can take at the very end during the Q&A portion. But love your questions. Keep them coming. We are recording today's session. So I know many folks are wanting to spread the word after the session or go back to take notes, and we will be happy to send that link to everyone that not only registered, but also those that attended will both get a link, and that will be sent to via email. So be on the lookout for that. And with that, I am going to turn it over to our CEO, Phil Dixon, and he's going to kick things off. So over to you, Phil.
Thank you, Amy, and thanks to everyone for spending some time with us today. This is an incredibly exciting time in software. My first tech sales job back in 2006, I covered Seattle to San Diego and as far east as Phoenix and to Las Vegas, selling six-figure systems to CFOs running $100 million plus construction companies. And so I started at the bottom and moved into sales management and eventually into marketing and business development. And so over the years, I've implemented Salesforce at 3 different companies, along with pretty much every marketing automation platform you can think of, except maybe Eloqua. No offense to Oracle. The point is, I've seen the CRM problem from both sides, from the seller's inbox and from the executive dashboard. And for the last 3 decades, companies have implemented CRM as a top-down solution. And I get it. We can go ahead to the next slide, Amy. So again, back to the top-down approach to implementing CRM. I've seen it from both sides. Last 3 decades, companies have implemented it as a top-down solution. Executives and managers need data to make better decisions about the business. That's critical. But the truth is, customer relationships don't live in the CRM. They're managed bottom up in the emails, the meetings, the calls, and the documents your team creates and shares every day. Cirrus has always been grounded in that belief. The CRM happens where sellers actually engage with customers. These touch points shouldn't be an afterthought. They should sit at the center of your entire business strategy, driving data collection, sales enablement workflow, and revenue intelligence. And so the customer history is fundamental. This slide illustrates exactly what we mean when we say that customer relationships don't live in your CRM. They live right here. Think about it. 90% of your customer relationships exist in the day-to-day communication between your teams and your buyers, the emails, the meetings, the conversations, and documents that define every interaction. The problem is all of that rich context, the real story of your customer relationship, is invisible to most systems. CRM might hold your accounts and contacts, but the true relationship history, the lifeblood of your business, is trapped inside this unstructured data that lives inside your inboxes, notes, and documents. And until now, it was really complicated and expensive to try to convert this messy, unstructured data into insight. But Cirrus was built to change that. We capture, organize, and understand all of the interactions automatically. So every email, every meeting, every conversation becomes structured, searchable intelligence that your teams can actually use. And when you have that level of context, you don't just have a database, you have the foundation for a true AI-driven sales automation system. And so if customer relationships live in email, meetings, and conversations, then revenue operations live here. Think about your go-to-market engine, your website, your marketing campaigns, your sales collateral, your customer playbooks, your coaching programs, all of the systems that drive revenue. Less than 10% of that actually happens in your CRM. The real work, the conversations, the follow-ups, the proposals, the coaching, all happens in the tools and touch points your teams use every day. So when we talk about Cirrus becoming an AI-first sales operating system, this is what we mean. We're connecting every part of the revenue operations back to where relationships actually live. The inbox, the calendar, the conversations that power your business. Because when you connect these worlds, relationship history and revenue operations, you get a system that doesn't just record activity, it can actually drive growth. And so on the next slide, we're going to talk about the shift to AI. And this is where it gets really exciting. Cirrus is in a truly unique position to lead the shift to AI, and that's because where we started. Most software companies are trying to bolt AI onto their products. We don't have to. Cirrus has lived inside of email and calendar workflows for over a decade, right where relationships actually happen. That gives us something incredibly powerful: context. Cirrus already knows your conversations, your meetings, your follow-ups, and it uses that history to learn, listen, and work in the background. Imagine every seller supported by an invisible team of experts: a sales coach, a sales ops analyst, a solution engineer, all powered by AI. Cirrus doesn't just help you manage work, it helps you move deals forward automatically. And so on this next slide, we're just talking real quick before we get into product about the Cirrus guiding principles and how we plan to make all of this real. We built Cirrus around 4 guiding principles, 4 promises that define how we're turning AI into practical, everyday value for sellers and leaders. The first is build pipeline. Cirrus needs to fill and replenish your funnel automatically, so you never start a quarter empty. We want to help you manage pipeline, keeping deals moving with no gaps, no ghosts, and no surprises. We want to help sellers win every meeting. Cirrus helps sellers show up prepared, guided, and ready to position your solution with precision. And finally, we want to help sell smarter, where we turn activity into insight and insight into foresight. And together, these 4 principles form the foundation of the Cirrus sales operating system, where AI doesn't just assist sellers, it augments them. So the truth is, no seller can do it all. What we built with Cirrus AI is a team behind every rep, a digital crew that listens and learns and works quietly in the background, so sellers can focus on what they do best: building a relationship and closing deals. You've got your sales op AI keeping CRM data clean and organized. Your solutions AI generating proposals and ROI models on the fly. A coaching AI offering guidance before, during, and after every meeting. Deal intelligence AI watching the health of every opportunity. It's like having an entire revenue team supporting you, but without the headcount. And it doesn't stop at sales. Cirrus AI can power any relationship-driven business, from financial advisors to consultants to customer success managers. Every professional who relies on conversations to grow revenue can have their own AI team preparing meetings, updating the CRM, surfacing insights, and ensuring every client interaction moves the relationship forward. And so next, we're going to get into the video portion of the program. And we talked about what Cirrus is becoming: an AI-first sales operating system. So let's take a look at what actually feels like in action. What we're about to show you is a glimpse into the seller's new daily experience, where Cirrus listens, learns, and works right alongside you. You'll see how the AI automates everything from data capture and meeting prep to live coaching and follow-up, and how it keeps your CRM and leadership dashboards perfectly up to date. This is what it looks like when AI truly works the sales team and not the other way around. So let's roll the video. So Cirrus is going to work quietly in the background, capturing every contact, every conversation and company you interact with. No manual entry, no switching tabs. The system should recognize new prospects automatically, adding them to the right account, enriching their details, and keeping your CRM perfectly up to date. So every seller's inbox becomes their most powerful data engine. Next, we're going to look at collecting meeting data automatically. Cirrus automatically captures every meeting across your calendar: who you met with, what account it belongs to, and when it happened. No manual entry, no logging after the fact. Every interaction is instantly organized and synced, so your calendar becomes another source of truth for every customer relationship. Next, we're going to take a look at automating meeting prep. Every morning, Cirrus prepares sellers for every meeting on their calendar automatically. Behind the scenes, Cirrus analyzes relationship history, buyer personas, and the full conversation record, emails, meetings, notes, documents, to understand where each opportunity stands. Then it builds a pre-meeting dossier designed to help you win. The system identifies the purpose of the meeting, outlines key goals, and even recommends questions to ask, all backed by your customer's unique profile, pain points, and priorities. Cirrus connects the dots across marketing collateral, sales playbooks, and evaluation or implementation plans. So you walk into every meeting prepared, confident, and aligned. It's not just for one meeting. Every conversation has its own dossier, a living, breathing record of everything that matters to that deal. During live meetings, Cirrus becomes your silent co-pilot. It listens to the conversation in real time, transcribing every word privately for the seller, and capturing the true context of what's being discussed. In the Solution tab, you may see here on the right, Cirrus instantly searches for companies' knowledge across their knowledge base and their customer playbooks, surfacing tailored recommendations based on what's being said and the full relationship history. Each suggestion is in its reasoning and source material, so sellers can drill in with confidence, knowing why a solution is being recommended and how to position it. And so as we switch over to the coaching tab, the Cirrus is going to show what's been accomplished from the active customer playbook and what's still missing. It's going to flag what we've nailed down as the value positioning. Maybe we still need to emphasize our key differentiators, and it might even remind us it's time to engage the CFO. And then last, for sellers who prefer a lighter touch, the live coach can run on their phone or in another window. So next, we're getting to the email and document composition. After every meeting, Cirrus turns Insight into action automatically. When you open up a completed meeting, your follow-up is already ready and waiting. Cirrus reviews the conversation, identifies next steps, drafts a personalized email, complete with contextual details, relevant links, recommended collateral to reinforce your position. It can even attach proposals, case studies, and scheduling pages that fit the exact stage of your deal. Every suggestion is grounded in your conversation history, your buyer's pain points, and your company's playbooks, so you always follow up with precision and purpose. All that's left for the seller to do is review, personalize, and hit send. Cirrus learns best when it learns from you. Admins can easily upload your web content, sales documents, and customer playbooks, connecting the materials you already use to the Cirrus Intelligence Engine. This gives the AI business context for how your company speaks, positions, and sells. It means every coaching tip, every proposal draft, every live recommendation sounds like your brand, not generic AI. And so Cirrus is also going to keep your opportunities current automatically. Every meeting, every follow-up, every email becomes structured data in real time. And so as activities happen, Cirrus updates opportunity stages, contact notes, and next steps, complete with AI's reasoning for each change. The result, a CRM that's finally accurate, complete, and alive. Next, Cirrus turns every conversation into a measurable insight. From sales to marketing to product, you should see what customers are saying, feeling, and reacting to in real time. Track the positive reactions, concerns, competitor mentions across every call and every meeting. You should be able to see topics by conversation and even ask natural questions like, how often have transparency concerns come up this quarter? Cirrus instantly surfaces the answer, giving every team the clarity to act faster, sell smarter, and stay aligned around the customer. So with all of these AIs working in the background, the next piece that Cirrus is developing is a single page dashboard, one that's going to organize and prioritize all of these AI powered insights. So your AI powered command center for selling, instead of jumping between inboxes, meetings, and CRM tabs, Cirrus is going to consolidate every next step, every draft, and every piece of collateral into one seamless workspace. On the left, your AI organized task list appears, clear, prioritized, automatically generated from your ongoing deals and conversations. And on the right, you've got a smart workspace where every task comes prepped, a drafted follow-up, recommended attachments, and transparent reasoning for why each action matters. Now we're back to the deck, and we're going to talk about Cirrus plus AI, where we've come from, what we have today, what's in production, and then how we're planning to tackle these objectives in the future. So everything today that we've shown builds on years of deep integration with the most fundamental tools in sales, your email and your calendar. So that's our foundation. It's where customer history lives, and it's what gives Cirrus the data to make AI actually intelligent. And today, Cirrus is already powering meeting prep, real-time transcription, the Cirrus Next, and AI-driven email composition. Next, we're going to launch our document composer and conversation intelligence features, so every seller can move from context to content instantly. And in the near future, we'll be your active coach and forecasting partner, helping sales teams not just record what happened, but predict what happens next. Next, I would like to remind and/or announce, depending on where you are, that meeting prep is live for all customers. It is now available to every Cirrus customer that would like to try it. Every morning, Cirrus automatically prepares a meeting dossier for every conversation on your calendar, complete with company research, relationship history, and deal context. It's like having an assistant who's always one step ahead, giving you the confidence to walk into every meeting fully informed and ready to win. Meeting prep is live today. Any user syncing their calendar with Cirrus is able to try this new feature. And then last but not least, we want to introduce the Cirrus Flex program. And we want to talk about how we're trying to make it easier than ever to experience Cirrus. So we know that different user groups within your organization have different needs. Some want to test drive AI in the field, others want to control how and when teams adopt it. And so we're introducing the Cirrus Flex program, where we're going to open up the user count in your organization so that you have unrestricted users. The system's not going to block users that want to come in and try features. We're also going to unrestrict the features that are not on your current plan. The point is, you should be able to demonstrate ROI before you buy. And for enterprises, we understand that that's concerning, and we want to give you the full ability to maintain control of your org with feature toggles. So we've got feature level toggles on every single feature in the Cirrus dashboard that you'll be able to toggle things on and off when we make the transition to the Cirrus Flex plan. And so this is our way of removing friction. And we're just trying to make it simple for you to experiment, scale, and grow with Cirrus. Again, I want to thank everyone for spending time with us today. I hope you're as excited as we are about the future of sales with AI. And we, of course, welcome your questions. So we're going to move on to that portion of the presentation.
Thank you, Phil. That was great. Loved seeing all of the next steps in action, surfacing all of the context and information. Very cool. So as Phil said, we would love to answer any questions that you all have. Please feel free to type those into the Q&A module of the Zoom platform, and we will absolutely try to get those answered for you. We do have a couple of questions, so I'm going to dive right into those as we start to have some others trickle in. One of the questions that we have here, Phil, is We have a number of data sources that our teams are already using today. For example, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, Zoom Info, etc. Are we able to enable those as sources and context for the AI?
Yeah, absolutely. We designed it to work with any contact account-based database. So as long as we have API access, can get API access to that system, and or you already have a credential or the ability to connect to it through a service account or some other API connection, we designed it to work with many different data sources that all can have their own unique data model for the account and contact record, so that we can use it to research and populate the accounts and contacts as kind of that fundamental first step for the enrichment customer, or your ICP definition, if you will.
Amazing. Second question here that we received is that we are often working with a lot of private data about our clients. How are you all addressing compliance and security needs within the AI tools?
Yeah, I mean, this is, a question that everybody has, right? Our plan for, call it the highly compliant industries, or, high secure industries that have much more rigorous protocols, is we're building this out so that you can bring your own storage, bring your own LLM. And so if you already have Azure, we can potentially stand up a Mongo database storage for the email content and the AI outputs, et cetera. And if you're already contracted with Azure AI Foundry or some other LLM where you're very comfortable with those contractual agreements, and CISO has already done those security reviews, it's not here today, but that's how we've architected the system so that Cirrus can become the control plane for orchestrating the AI, but the data remains in your organization. And so that's how we're thinking about accomplishing that. In the meantime, we have contracts with Azure AI Foundry, and then of course, SOC 2 and the security reviews that we go through on your behalf, and to keep our systems and data protected. So it is capable of running in a multi-tenant fashion today with security.
Great. Next question here that we have. You showed in the demo that there is a content library. Curious how we can upload things like persona profiles or playbooks that our team is already running, and how that content feeds into the suggested next steps that are given to the team using the tool.
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, fundamentally, the way I think about it is this: an AI needs to be trained no different than a human, right? So you've got your website and you've got your generic collateral. So call it your training material. Then you've got, how do I activate that knowledge, right? So think of that as just baseline knowledge. And then how do I activate the knowledge? But that's the training and the playbooks. This is situational analysis. So you've got customer playbooks or sales playbooks that need to be injected. And then all of that kind of has to be orchestrated in the context of the customer disposition, or where they're at in their evaluation, or where they are at with the implementation of your product or service, right? So we need these three things lined up, and we need them constantly syncing and constantly being activated kind of in real time for the customer, or for the seller to engage with the customer, to assist the seller engaging with the customer. So you can think about tagging your website as basic collateral, and then uploading a playbook as a playbook. And then as the AI is trying to assist with a solution, or an ROI analysis, or generate an email, then it's looking at the relationship history that we've already collected. It's going and saying, well, based on where this customer is and where we are with this customer, what playbook should I be activating? And then based on those two things, what knowledge and what content do I need to go get in order to support the next step or the next artifact that's being generated in the sales process. And so that's how we're, it's a little bit simplified, but that's how we're orchestrating the data layer here.
Awesome. So a last question that we received here, we are currently using other meeting transcription solutions. For example, Zoom offers some transcription now. There's also solutions out there like Gong. Can you talk a little bit about how Cirrus Insight may be different from those types of tools?
Yeah, first and foremost, we plan to integrate with all transcription capabilities, right? You may have to, if you're a Microsoft shop, you may have to run certain meetings out of Teams, right? But you may have customers that will only run Zoom. And so you kind of have to meet your customers where they are. So one, we're planning to integrate with all video conferencing platforms so that when you're joining any meeting virtually, we should be able to get that transcript. Now, whether we're getting that transcript live or whether we're getting that transcript asynchronously post-processing after the meeting, that's a different scenario, right? For our live coaching, we're going to need to be streaming the transcript, right? But if you're not going to use the live coaching, then we can get transcripts asynchronously from our system and the way we process it, or asynchronously from any other transcription service. Does that answer the question, Amy?
Yes, thank you. The other open question that we have here is we are not currently receiving a meeting AI, but are interested in trying it. So yeah, so I can maybe take this question, Phil, and you can tack on if you'd like. So Phil mentioned, right, that this is open to all customers today. We are currently phasing it in to certain sets of customers at a time. So we're not inundating the customers all at once with it. However, if there are customers that would like to opt in today to that, and you're not getting those daily meeting prep emails, we would love to get you access to that. So if you would kindly send your email address and information, and we'll tack it to at the end of the event and make sure that someone gets in touch with you, we will gladly make sure that you are able to get access to that. So great question. And then the next question that we have here is many of the regulated firms are not allowed to store transcription or recorded content for compliance reasons. Is there a workaround that we've been thinking about for being able to provide the meeting intelligence in those?
Yeah, I mean, the best workaround for that is going to be dictation, right? I mean, no different than you writing your notes and then go transcribing your notes into the CRM. It's just, after the meeting, if you're not able to record it live, or if the meeting is in person, to just be able to activate dictation mode and just summarize for yourself kind of what went on in that particular interaction. And so that's a relatively, I would say, easy. I mean, it puts more work on the user, obviously, but that's going to be the best workaround to integrate with this type of solution.
Awesome. But those are most of the questions that we've received so far. So thanks for getting those answered, Phil. And I wanted to touch on the slide that you see here on the screen. So you'll notice that there is a QR code presented here. Phil, myself, and Mike, our VP of product, who's pictured here, we would love to chat with each and every one of you about what your current AI initiatives look like today, how Cirrus Insight may fit into that, and how we can help answer any questions and dive into specifics around some of the tools that were shown here today. So would love to and encourage anyone to utilize a QR code, which actually goes directly to our Cirrus Insight Smart Scheduler tool, which has logic built into it so that it can book with one or three of us, and you can select our calendars and book directly. So would love to have everyone book some time with us. We would love that time with each customer. So we can hang tight for a minute or two if there are any other questions that come through. Again, today's event is recorded and will be sent via email via a link to everyone. So be on the lookout for that. And with that, I really thank everybody for coming and joining us. And I hope to see everybody on a future event.